moment, my watcher friend. Without waiting for you to reply, he rubs his hands together and steps in close, lowering his voice. I'm excited we will be going to Twin Elms. Nervous, but excited. And I will say, why the mixed feelings?
It's, a matter of, trepidation, maybe. I was never a well-accepted member of my own circle, and I'm fairly certain I'll find some way to make an insult or give offense.
Probably. Probably.
And for all I know, the druids of Twin Elms are in contact with the Hawk and Ivy Circle. The Fisher Crane tribe isn't often this far northwest of the bog, but word of my ostracism could have spread. I've spent years coming up with new reasons to put it off. About time I go there and see what WoW wills me to see.
Not today, not today.
Need something?
Need something? Who raises an eyebrow? Can we discuss our partner? Why would you want to do that? Tell me about Elgrafal. It's a verdant land of history, culture, and natural beauty. His voice falls into a half whisper as he adds, and we already have enough unwanted trespassers, so I recommend you never visit. Do you miss it? Used to, he says with a slight frown. He scratches his shredded ear and looks eastward. It's home. I'll go back eventually, but he turns his attention to his shoulder and picks a small seed from the fibre of his tunic. See this? He holds the seed. I know, just a seed, but I've never seen this type before, and I'm itching to find out what grows from it. Every day I see something new out here. I'll return home eventually, but for now my curiosity exceeds my nostalgia sevenfold. So why should I avoid Elgrafal? He looks at you puzzled. There are no cities to visit, no centres of commerce to explore. It would seem most visitors come to our lands to pillage the Enlithan ruins. The ancient elephants gave the forest to our ancestors, and in return we watched their ruin to see to it that they remain untouched. And before you ask, no, we don't have a secret passphrase or hand gesture. Nobody enters the ruins, not even the guardians and watchers. What can you tell me about your tribe? I'm from the Fisher Crane tribe. Most of my people live far to the southeast in and around Thean Bog. He waves his fingers together and cracks his joints in a flexing motion of wet snaps. The tribe is not one of the great renown, but we paused for a moment. They protect their lands in accordance with the sacred oath of old, and it is much as it pains me to say, I wouldn't want any other tribe's name attached to my own. Did you grow up in a bog? Only briefly. Here, let me show you something. Don't commit any of it to your memory, please. I won't. So he rolls up a sleeve and shows you his forearms. The soft brown fur of his arms is lined with faint stains of henna and scar tissue. This is where I grew up, on the migration trail. I had it marked on my arms during my training. While much of the tribe guards the same bog year round, many of us, including the Circle of Hawk and Ivy, honoured it off by patrolling lesser known ruins scattered throughout the lands. He points at several of the Hina crescents. Oh, right, that's a tattoo. Yeah, okay. We ish through houses, take only what we can carry, and move camp every 2 moons to ensure that all our sacred sites are visited in irregular intervals. This nomadic patrol is how my druid circle came to name itself. We circle and protect like hawks, but we only ever perch on the ivy of the ruins. That's it. Nearby trees, never to enter the building's lairs. Okay, so why are the Fisher Cranes well regarded? Because the other tribes are insufferable sibling spawn. He grins broadly and stares at you for several silent moments. I suppose the Fisher Cranes have a reputation for being passive and reluctant to fight, which is another way of saying that other tribes fight hard while we fight smart. Our namesake, the Fisher Crane, is a marshland raptor that means stark still from sunrise to noon. We are invisible stewards of the land and patient hunters to those who trespass. Freitas Stelgar tribe see our methods as soft and unbecoming, but I hear they use the same word for cousin as they do for whore in their dialect. Just an observation. Would you join a different tribe? He frowns and shakes his head. There are tribes that would take me, Twice split arrows adopt outcasts like myself, but their ways are not my own. Some of them even live under roofs. How obtuse. He looks off to the southeast and sighs. I long for home, not just any home. But Whale had made my offerings fruitful, and I accept that it may be until my soul passes that I rejoin the fisher cranes. I have some other questions about it. Aren't most Orlands in Englathan wild?
Wild? Yes, I suppose all of us were a bit wild as my tribe was migratory and we didn't live in permanent houses.
Excuse me?
But I understand what you're trying to ask. Yes, a slight plurality of Glonfathan Orlands have forest plumage. Growing up with meadow plumage, I was assumed to be weaker than others my age. The huntmaster of my tribe only chose apprentices from the forested kin, or rather, wild Orlands, as they're called amongst slave-owning bigots, as well as bigots too broke to own slaves. I grew up in Glonfath, specifically in and around Thane Bog. My people, the Fisher Crane tribe, are migrant stewards of the land. I've walked the whole of Glonfath many times.
Excellent.
What would you like to know?
Here we go. What do the Gruffans think of Deerwood and its people? Foreign looters are set with wealth and wine. May their bowels be obstructed with pus-whipping nodules. Every one of them. His scroll lingers and he scratches at his ear stump. Not that you're asking a neutral party. When I was an insufferable child, I was usually was. My parents told me Deerwoodians would enslave me in this life and the next if I didn't behave. But I'm in their lands now, and I will, in the interest of academic fairness, admit that I have met several decent, mostly non-rabid Deerwoodians. He looks aghast and folds his arms, but my suspicion about them all being drunkards has proved entirely accurate. I wonder what great wonders they've accomplished, if they're all sobered up.
I grew up in Glonfath, specifically in and around Thane Bog. My people, the Fisher Crane tribe, are migrant stewards of the land. I've walked the whole of Glonfath many times. What would you like to know?
You're like, no, but I'm Cal. Oh, hello there. You arrived at last. Well. A woman in robes, flanked by an armed group, savours every word before whispering to the next. Finally, you should have remained in Defiance Bay. She draws a smile, pale and full, then drops below her recessed chin. But I'm glad you didn't have better sense. I've looked forward to this since you got in our way. It's her, the other one. The woman in the group motions with her abacus towards Pellegrina. Aren't you looking for her too? Yes. She squints and looks Pellegrina up and down. A dark-skinned woman with feathers. There can't be too many of your kind around these parts, can there? She smiles with strange geniality. Pellegrina's feathers ruffle and the golden irises of her eyes glow thin, swallowed by the blackness of her widening pupils. And why would you be looking for me, Mika? The same reason I'm looking for him. Her eyes twinkle above her placid smile. You should know, little bird, no one wants to hear songs about conspiracies. Conspiracies. That's not right. Conspiracies. Maybe it is right. In my mind, I think I'm saying that wrong, but okay. Her voice deepens and takes on an edge of menace. It just makes us want to wring your neck. Any last words? Walk away before you get hurt. Before you get hurt. You got noble heart. A woman wets her lips. I'm going to enjoy this. Seeing it burn. Time is the day. Okay, what the hell are you guys? Key fighter. Oh, looks great. Alright. See, this is the damage I'm used to. Everybody dying.
Damn the ambassador. I told him there was a conspiracy. Again and again, I was ignored. Then the Duke's death, the riots, and now this. If the Laeden Key is targeting me, we need to warn the ambassador in first fires.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Sure.
Let's see what I mean. This is what I was on about. This is how fast it should be going.
Ready, Watcher.
Don't ask me. I don't know. I don't have answers anymore, folks. I don't. This is how I remember everything dying before.
Yeah.
What the?
Yes?
Yeah, I can't.
Aye?
That's it!
Getting through me.
That's not very helpful.
I'll chew the gristle off your skull!
Again, you don't get anything for it, so why would I do that? Yeah, why can't I get there?
Need something?
It's a good thing? I have no idea.
The Paru. Die!
Holy shit.
What?
Bounty. Oh, that was a bounty. Fucking no wonder, man. Holy shit.
Hello!
I'm here to claim the bounty. Wow, smells as bad as she looks. Good luck. Here's a bounty. Nice. Anything else? What I have here? Oh, a couple of big names here the time around. There's Deraf Goldmort, the vampire, and his priest that Crucible Knights are after. Also have a bounty here for the Green Death. The last one's from Gilfathans at Ibsen's Well. Seems they're after our looter. Tell me about Dareth Grimoff. Some kind of rabble-rouser. Fancies themselves a visionary. Thing is, we've tried killing him before. It didn't stick. Now this vampire set up some kind of cult in the catacombs beneath the Copper Lane district, Defiance Bay. The Ducal's palace wants him removed permanently. What about priests? Theron, the High Priest of the Scattered God, has been desecrating grave sites all over Deerwood. No idea what he's looking for, but he and his men killed a squad of Crucible Knights sent to stop him, and now they want his head. Last sight was Esterwood. Okay, Great Death. Some alchemist in Mercyfield wants the head of Glassdale the Troll, also known as the Green Death. The fellow didn't say what he wanted it for, only that he's willing to pay very well if that suits you. I suggest you look for him at Elmshore. I've been there. That was underneath that place, yep. Who's the Gralvathans after? Some Songsmith Roska, our Norwick chanter. She and her associates have been looting in within ruins. The Gralvathans of Evanswell want her to pay her for her crimes, and her pay could... Dying monk. Dying monk. So cold, please help. Dying by me.
Eyes open.
Dying monk. The man on the ground grasps for air, clutching his chest as he struggles. On closer examination, you see his red cloak obscures the full extent of his injuries. His face whitens as blood pools around him. Please, traveller! Help this man to his feet. What happened? Forgetful, so careless, he mutters, blood seeping from his lips. Cuts on my knuckles from morning's practice. He holds his blood-soaked hand out in front of him. The stalgiers. They smelled the blood of mine. Thought they found their necks meal. The man reaches down to clutch his left leg. His fingers rung along a jagged length of bone protruding from his knee. That's not good. They were almost correct. Honest. The man let out a long sigh and smiles at you with a slow and knowing nod. You are known to us, Watcher. We know you have treated others' honesty fairly. His face becomes bare and lapses into a wide smile, and I have need for someone trustworthy who'd finish my mission. Alright, I'm just going to go for it. This must be delivered to my order. The monk weakly grasps for his satchel, drawing from its messenger's scroll case. Take it, he rasps, waving the missive at you. It needs to be carried to the celestial sapling. Give this to my brothers. They will reward you. Do not open it, he cries out, his voice cracking. The contents are for my brothers only. If the seal is broken, they will... Blood erupts from the man's mouth, stems of red oozing down his neck. His head slumps backwards and his body goes still. Examine the soul case. The scroll case is crafted of darkly stained oak in the likeness of a thin tower. Along its length, 5 wax seals. Gently. I think I could open it without them being too harsh on me.
Ready, Watcher.
Alright, confusion.
I'm ready. I'm here.
Need something?
The Adra art looms in front of you, just as you saw it through Pirok's eyes. Sagani turns, watching the trees for movement. As the arc's shadows fall over you, the wooded shore fades into a different scene. You're standing in another forest. Blackened bare trunks claw their way out of the soil and keep a solemn figgle over the young trees and tender shrubs. You move slowly through the woods, and the ruins scattered throughout them. Stone pillars and broken arches show the bones of some destroyed building. Between and amidst it all are elves and orlans, their face painted and their bows drawn. Examine the trees. The stunted, charred trunks look like the aftermath of war of black trees. Battles were fought all over Deerwood and El Grafan, and many of the deadliest fronts developed along the borders and behind major Grafan settlements. More trees, crumbling ruins. Where is this? Well, I've seen this next location.
I'll follow you.
Counts the arrows in her cover before adjusting the weight of her sword.
I always get a strange feeling near the end of a hunt. Like an itch on the end of my nose. I feel like we're close.
Sound surprised.
I am. After all this time. A part of me had already accepted that I'd never find him. That I'd be stuck wandering like this forever. I'll admit, I didn't believe you at first. Still didn't until now.
What changed?
I haven't spent this much time around anyone since the long hunts in Nasitak. But I've gotten to know you. Seen how you deal with Kith. Whatever else you turn out to be when we find Theos, you're honest. I know you wouldn't lead me astray in this.
I hope not. What I mean is, thanks. No one's done this much for me in a very long time. Feels almost like I'm part of the village again. What will we do after this is over?
Good question.
She runs her hand over the smooth, chiselled surface of the arch. It's been hard to see a purpose behind the last 5 years, but lately I've started to realise just how much Pirok shaped our village. How his efforts and sacrifices added up, made us stronger. Bringing his blessings back to Mazak will strengthen us and draw us even closer together, and I'm proud to know that I'll be one returning with it. She thumps the Adra wall with the heel of her hand, but I'm getting ahead of myself. First, we've got to find Pirok, as well as your quarry. Should you give me time to figure out what I'll say to him? What do you think you'll tell him?
I guess that depends on who he is now. I'd like to think that traveling for 5 years entitles me to give him a solid earful about all of it. But what really matters to someone in Persok's position? The village he left behind? The family he likely won't remember?
Two I'll go with. If you've come just as much as Pirok, I want to hear about it.
I hadn't thought of it that way. Who knows? When we find Theos, maybe you'll get your wish.
Maybe. Anyway, here's to finding our man soon. Let's talk about something else. Hit the forest from the last vision.
Anyone suspected of treachery must be reported at once. Good, you have come. You have heard of the recent defections from our order caused by this apostate in Kratum.
Correctum. The answer floats to the surface of your consciousness, remembered from ages ago. Yes, I have.
This is a dangerous woman whose lies spread like plague. She inspires chaos, sows conflict. Because of these unusual circumstances, I am speaking to all our initiates personally to ensure there is no more dissension.
You mean because she was one of us?
Who she was no longer matters. If her following continues to grow, there will be war, and all our work will be undone. You were recruited from Kratum, were you not? You must have known this heretic woman, Eora.
Hearing the name, a flood of memories pours into your mind. He was my mentor.
I pray her old teachings were less blasphemous than the new. Was it worthwhile, this mentorship?
I learned to be strong in my convictions.
Indeed. If she had held true to hers, we wouldn't be in this position.
Maybe.
I am trusting you to remain loyal to the gods in this. If you do not, you will have greater powers than me to answer to. But you will answer to me as well.
I understand, your eminence. Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
Extra more. Billy? Bill?
Hail, Estramore.
Another fugitive from the burning city. The 6 tribes of El Grafan welcome you to Twin Elms. Before you lies the Heartsong district. You are free to explore it, but do not let your feet stray into the other districts. Those are forbidden to Estramore. What can you tell me about Twin Elms? The city is sacred to all Grafans. It is a place where our ancestors first encountered the Buildings. That fated meeting turned our people from generations of wandering to a permanent home among the Baldur's relics. When the Buildings commanded us to settle here, they allowed us the unique privilege to live among their structures here. It is the only place in Elgrafan where this is permitted. The sacred city is divided into 4 districts: Herstrong, the Commons district; Old Song, the site of our temples; Elms Reach, home for Delmgram and Druids; and the Burial Isle, which is the most sacred place in the city. Hear about Hellsong. This is Hellsong. It's a place where Grafans and Estramore may gather together. It's also the site of the passage of the Six, where our tribal leaders, the Anampatha, met. He points to a large round building in the other end of the district. That way is the market. Guard your purse there. No one bargains like a Grafathan, and if you need a place to stay, follow the fence to the east. There you will find a way to the Celestial Sapling. Which temple lies in Old Song? There is Noonforst, which is dedicated to Raymond. A group of pale elves from the frozen Southlands arrived not long ago to oversee it. There's also the Nest, a temple of Hylia, and Galawain's Maw, a den of beasts dedicated to the hunter's god. The route of the burial isle also lies that way. Tell me about Elms Reach. There lies Tir Evron, one of the only towers of the Baldwin still in perfect condition. 2 great elm trees twine around it. Even the mightiest works of the god protect the works of the Boulders. 2 Deligram sisters dwell there now. The Hall of Warriors stand at the other end of the district. Rumour has it that Ashmar Simuk of the Treetur Stelgar is there now. Elms Reach is also where the Druids keep their halls. They are also the Ovates of the Golden Grove and Ichigno Bloodsands. Many shudder at the brutal sacrifices of the Ignoi, but High Ovate Eora is just as powerful in her own way. My watcher friend, if Alice pipes up from behind you, I would be honoured to accompany you to Elms Reach to meet those druids, though I'd be a bit wary of any circle with a reputation for brutal sacrifices. We are going there, so do you know anything about the Burial Isle? It's a place where our Anafatha are held to rest among stones placed by the Boulders. They say the souls of some of the Aphathan linger there still. The way lies through Old Song. It is the holiest place in all of Twin Elms. That's all I wanted to know. Something else. Why is it forbidden to enter the remaining districts? Twin Elms is a sacred city, built where the first keepers of the stone met the Boulders. It is alongside the works of the Boulders, and it's also a place in all of Elgrafan where it is permitted to set foot among those sacred places. The Estramore, however, do not have proper respect for the stones there. His words trigger something in your memory. You see an image of a perfect cube of Adra. Just as quickly, the image fades. The leader of the tribes could give you permission of the city. Only Anaphalaf Belaf is present in the passage of the Six today, and she has her own troubles. He jerks his head at the long hut in the middle of the district. You have other questions? I haven't heard of the keepers. The oldest of the 6 tribes. He points the tip of the sword at the long hut behind him, up the stairs and into the passage of the 6. This is where only Anava Galar, Bewith, the Amaleth of the Gilded Compass. Can you tell you more? Who are the Boulders? You know them as Ingrathans. To us, they are the Boulders, creators of the sacred places as we guard here today. I'll keep your words in mind. Best that you keep your visit brief. Word has reached our ears that the riots have ended and the gates of Defiance Bay have opened up once more. That means I can go there.